It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for the Walking Dead universe. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the biggest plot hole of the Walking Dead universe and the potential explanation for that plot hole that may not make it as big of a plot hole as we thought initially. Now, the plot hole is obviously the fact that Negan never spoke about seeing the Civic Republic military helicopter after he encountered the helicopter at Jadis's junkyard. The way to explain it could be that Negan potentially knew the CRM and even dealt with them in the past. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this theory, but at the same time, it's the best thing that we got to explaining this plot hole. And also, if this is the actual explanation, or if this ends up being how they're gonna explain it, then it could definitely connect to the spin-off with Negan and Maggie as well. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break it all down. Alright, as always, before we jump into this, smash that like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that, let's get right into it. So obviously, when Negan was held hostage at Jadis's junkyard, he did encounter the Civic Republic military helicopter, the same helicopter that was likely the one that contacted Jadis, and potentially the exact same one that Rick saw earlier. There's potentially two plot holes here. Obviously, it wasn't just Negan who saw this helicopter. It was also Jadis. Now, with the Jadis situation, it's not quite as much of a plot hole because obviously Jadis was doing dealings with this group, and I think it makes perfect sense for her to not want to speak about it to the group even after joining them, because there's secrets that she may not want to get out. Obviously, this was still in her mind years down the line because she continued to want to trade with them, even when she was with the group for a little bit. When it comes to Negan, it's definitely a plot hole. I mean, obviously, if Negan just saw this helicopter first time, there's a possibility that he might have forgotten about it. But with that said, I think he would have mentioned this to someone. He may not have necessarily thought it was a big deal, but he realistically would have spoken to someone about it. Now, this becomes maybe more or less of a plot hole depending on how you look at it. If we look at the theory, what if Negan knew the CRM and dealt with them in the past? What if, similar to how the Omaha colony had to deal with the CRM, Negan and the Saviors had to deal with the CRM as well? Because obviously at this time, Negan was at his prime. He was the leader of the Saviors, and the Saviors had around 100, maybe 200 people. So maybe in the Civic Republic military's eyes, they saw the Saviors as a potential ally. Maybe as a group that could do their dirty work for them. And from the Saviors' perspective, maybe the CRM brought a level of security to the Saviors. Now, even with that, I mean, I get it if Negan wouldn't want to say anything about it right away, or maybe even a few years down the line. But at some point, I think that he would have talked about this. You know what I mean? He would have mentioned this to someone because it just doesn't make sense. At this point, Negan is one of the survivors. As much as people may not want to believe that or accept that, he is one of the crew. So at this point, I think for Negan to know about the helicopter and not speak on it is a plot hole. But I don't want to get carried away because this video started with me saying that's the explanation. So I think the Negan situation may not be quite as bad, but the Gabriel situation is, because if you remember, Gabriel also saw the helicopter. Gabriel knew that Jadis was dealing with a mysterious group, and he never spoke about this, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And obviously, if you think about it, Rick went missing around the same time that Gabriel found out about the helicopter. So realistically, he should have been able to put two and two together and realize what's going on, but he didn't. So I think that's a bigger plot hole. Let's pretend here that either Negan just encountered a random helicopter and forgot about it, or he knew the CRM, dealt with them, but didn't want to speak because he didn't want to open a can of worms or say more than he has to. At the end of the day, what matters is that this could be the perfect way to bring things full circle and kind of bring the CRM back into the picture. What if when Negan and Maggie go on their own to Manhattan, New York on their spinoff, they encounter another Civic Republic military helicopter? What if that's what's going to trigger Negan to start speaking on what he encountered? Regardless of whether it was him just forgetting, seeing a random helicopter, or him potentially dealing with the CRM and not wanting to say anything about it up to this point. And what if this is enough for Negan to be able to finally put two and two together and realize that there might be a connection between this mysterious group with the helicopters and Rick disappearing. And obviously if Gabe is also there, then this could be a perfect way to bring everything together and have everyone be on the same page. So even though it might not be a great explanation for the plot hole, I think they could potentially do some sort of explanation and connect it in some way to the spin-off. And this goes back to what I've been saying. Maybe the spin-off with Negan and Maggie is them just going on a journey that doesn't involve the CRM, but they encounter a CRM helicopter, and that's what gets Negan talking, and that's when they are able to put two and two together and figure out what's going on. And maybe that's the reason why they pursue figuring out about the helicopters that are popping up, the mysterious group behind it, and how it potentially connects to Rick's disappearance. But that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about this. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.